Coming up, Germany Tzu Chi volunteers visit Croatia to conduct a disaster survey following the recent Southeast Europe floods. We meet two Zulu Tzu Chi volunteers from South Africa who have overcome all obstacles to remain steadfast on the Bodhisattva path. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Helen Now. Thank you for joining us. Days of torrential rain in mid-May in southeastern Europe triggered the worst flooding the Balkans has seen in more than a century. At least 44 people were killed and tens and thousands of homes destroyed. Learning of the severity of the disaster, Germany Tzu Chi volunteers immediately mobilized a survey team to Croatia. With the assistance of the Croatian Red Cross, volunteers headed to the village of Ganjai to survey the disaster.
Balkan countries in southeastern Europe were hit by the worst flooding in a century. Serbia, Bosnia and Croatia all experienced the heaviest rainfall and suffered the greatest damage. The rain activated torrents, which caused the Sava River to overflow into neighboring Croatia.
Everything is destroyed. All the livestock are dead. I don't even know where my husband is.
Departing from Munich, Germany Tzu Chi volunteers traveled 550 kilometers south into Zagreb, the capital of Croatia, where they met with the president of the Croatian Red Cross and Catholic charity organizations.
The elderly people in this area, they have a real trouble, have a small pension, house broken, so where they can go. On the start, they're living in tents.
We need to build. It's very poor area.
With the assistance of the Red Cross, Tzu Chi volunteers accompanied by two Red Cross personnel set out to one of the disaster areas. En route, they came across many temporary tents set up alongside the road. After a 3-hour drive, the team arrived at a relief camp 25 kilometers away from the village of Gunja. The Red Cross personnel stationed there say that the flood wreaked far worse damage than initially expected.
But it's still danger zone.
Okay.
So we have.
Volunteers first put on protective suits before entering the disaster area, as the dead animals that have yet to be disposed of have raised the risk of an outbreak of infectious disease.
Water, drinkable water, so you can use.
Broken furniture is piled on the street. Water stains are visible on the walls outside of homes. As the road ahead collapsed, volunteers travel on foot instead.
Das ist meine Haus und von meinem Mann.
Despairing disaster survivors show volunteers the state of their homes. Now that the waters have receded, what's left behind is a tide of mud and debris. A burst dike inundated the entire town in water within minutes. In the lower lying areas, the water has yet to fully recede.
Small part of people is situated in one hotel, and every day there is a bus who take them here so they can clean their houses.
There are 4 villages in Gunja with a total population of 10,000, 30% of whom are Muslim. The prayer hall and 3,000 books inside this mosque have all been lost to the flood. Upon completion of the inspection, Tzu Chi volunteers first need to be disinfected before they may leave. The next step is for Tzu Chi volunteers to evaluate and assess the level of assistance to be provided for disaster survivors in the days to come.
6 months after Typhoon Haiyan, life in Tacloban City has now more or less returned to normal, with streets bustling with business and shoppers. Though the typhoon brought massive destruction, because of it, citizens here have learned the importance of mutual assistance and community.
Here we are in Tacloban City, one of the areas worst hit during Typhoon Haiyan. As you can see, the streets are now bustling with shopgoers, a strong contrast to their lifelessness immediately following the typhoon.
Rising from the ruins, life here in Tacloban City has now returned to normal. For Dominica Caballero, business is what matters, although her home has yet to be repaired.
2 weeks after the typhoon, I borrowed money from my friends to reopen my shop.
Having a job ensures a better life. Employees of a fast food restaurant give it their all, as they now know how precious these job opportunities can be.
I'm really grateful because I still have a job. Fortunately, all of my employees survived the typhoon and had a job to return to.
Making a living is important. However, a hotel owner jumps at the opportunity to help Tzu Chi volunteers with their volunteer training seminar. The disaster has left local residents with the understanding of the importance of mutual assistance.
After the typhoon, I saw many volunteers here distributing hot food to disaster survivors. There were lots of disaster survivors. That was our first time seeing people distributing hot food on such a scale.
Upon seeing the Tzu Chi volunteers, store owners all approached to say hello. It turns out they were Tzu Chi's Cash for Work participants after the typhoon.
This mother and daughter pair received our consolation cash. They are very grateful.
As the volunteers walk by the church to inspect the renovation progress, one former recipient thanks the volunteers.
You say $170? He received $170 consolation cash. He didn't use the money to repair his home, but instead used it to start a steamboat business.
Thanks to Tzu Chi and cooperation among residents, life here in Tacloban is gradually back on track.
In the Philippines, Tzu Chi continues to assist those devastated by last November's Typhoon Haiyan. Recently, rice from Taiwan was distributed to some 10,000 households in Ormoc. As volunteers follow residents home, they finally realized the hardship these people have endured.
To help Typhoon Haiyan victims in Ormoc, the Philippines, Tzu Chi is distributing bags of rice.
We are very glad to receive Tzu Chi's rice, though that means carrying the heavy rice all the way back home for many. They don't mind the trouble.
Most residents are left with nothing after the typhoon. The money in Rowena's wallet is all that is left of her family's fortune. With Tzu Chi's rice, at least her family will not go hungry. Overjoyed that their food shortage has been solved, the recipients almost forgot they still have to walk a long way to get home. Traveling to Rowena's home from the distribution site takes over an hour on foot.
I am still searching for a job. If we run out of rice to eat, we can only go borrow some from other people.
Really, all I can say is thank you. Thank you very much for coming here and giving us rice to eat.
I am truly, truly grateful for your help. I have only one wish, and that is for my family to stay healthy. That is all I can ask for, because we have truly endured much suffering. Life has been very hard for us.
The way back to Bonifacio's home is even more treacherous.
Whenever we receive aid supplies, we have to swim across this river to get home, even though the water can be quite deep at times.
Tzu Chi volunteers had no idea that going home was such a challenge for so many residents. They were even more surprised when 85-year-old Julito came back with 5 pesos in hand.
Thank you for coming all this way to help us poor. I went home to grab some money and hurry back to make a donation. I'm so glad that you are still here.
No distance is too far, as in Ormoc, love continues to circulate and empower.
In the aftermath of Cyclone Nargis in 2008, Tzu Chi volunteers began a long-term recovery project in Myanmar, giving farmers rice seedlings to help their harvest. To reciprocate Tzu Chi's love and care, the farmers donate a handful of rice before each meal to help the needy. Among the farmers who have benefited from this project is Wu Ting Dun, who has been greatly influenced by Tzu Chi's ideals. This year, he even became a part of the Tzu Chi family.
Do you remember this farmer in Myanmar, Wu Ting Dun, who talks to his rice stalks in a gentle and positive way?
Rice, you have to grow up healthy, so you may feed the whole world. I wish Master Zheng Yan good health and for the harvest to be profitable.
In the aftermath of Cyclone Nargis, Tzu Chi's rebuilding efforts included distributing rice seedlings and aid supplies to help those hard hit by the disaster. Tzu Chi's aid came just in the nick of time for Wu Dingtun. Showing his appreciation to Tzu Chi, the grateful man does not use pesticides and gently speaks to his crops every day. Perhaps it is because of the changes he adopted, Wu Dingtun's 1.6 hectare paddy has doubled its yield every year. This year, the farmer even rented another quarter of a hectare of field, which is dedicated to Tzu Chi.
Now he has his own farmland and his own cow. In the past, he could only borrow the cow.
At the annual Tzu Chi training seminar in Myanmar, Wu Dingtun is seen wearing a training uniform. Volunteers even prepared a pair of white socks for him.
When I was in trouble, the volunteers came to help me. The only way I could think of repaying their grace is to spread Tzu Chi's ideals to more people.
Pure in his intent to give back and reciprocate, upon learning Tzu Chi is building 12 schools in remote villages, Wu Dingtun visited the construction site to help, setting an example to others.
Master, I'm walking the Tzu Chi path.
Kaohsiung in Taiwan is currently building the nation's first light rail system, which will also be the world's first fully catenary-free light rail. Here's more on how this city is breathing new life into an old railroad.
The Harbour Line passes through downtown Kaohsiung and residential areas. Built in 1940s by the Taiwan Railways administrations to help bridge shipping needs between the port of Kaohsiung and the Western Main Line, the currently abandoned railway will soon be reborn as the country's first light rail system.
The Kaohsiung Circular Line, currently under construction, follows the route of an old harbor line, on which new rails will be installed for the light rail system.
The railroad has been here for at least 60 to 70 years. Because the work was done by Japanese, its foundation is quite solid. Also, as the need for new road work is minimized, the impact on citizens will be small.
The Harbour Line was a vital economic lifeline to Kaohsiung and the whole nation in the early years. Now reborn as the new light rail, it will join the Kaohsiung MRT and the soon-to-be underground urban railway to breathe new life into the city.
We hope more people will come by this way. All shop owners here are looking forward to this. With crowds, we can also promote our Shiziwan culture.
If they can take into account the need to develop supporting businesses, I think the project will be wonderful.
The old fences of the Harbour Line are being removed, making room for bike trails and pedestrian walkways. It also means railroad crossings are history.
As the light rail train nears an intersection, a sensor will monitor traffic lights and make proper adjustments.
Now, people can ride bicycles up and down the old harbor line and enjoy the sight of the city and harbor. It is a sound solution for dealing with old railroads.
Even after renovation, the Harbour Line will still retain its history and identity. When the new system becomes operational next year, people will be able to ride the latest in light rail technology and at the same time relive the history of the old Harbour Line.
Next, we meet two Zulu Tzu Chi volunteers from South Africa, Dudu Ankobo and Beatrice CBC, who despite all difficulties still insist to participate this year's Tzu Chi Team Leaders Training Seminar.
South Africa Zulu Tzu Chi volunteer Dudu Nhobo came to Taiwan to attend the Team Leaders Training Seminar. However, never did she expect to receive news of her mother's passing while here. Although deeply saddened by the news, Dudu chose to extend her deepest blessings.
I was going to ask her to go and quickly come back. Come to join Tzu Chi Foundation.
Throughout the training seminar, Dudu remained diligent and committed. Even Master Zheng Yan commended her for her wisdom in elevating the love for her mother into selfless, unconditional great love for all.
Thank you very much. Because now, all in South Africa, our brother Michael told us, as we are the volunteers, we are our master's eyes, master's ears, mouth, hands, and feet.
Vowing to become the master's eyes, hands and feet and spread love across South Africa, Dudu continues to work to actualize that vow. A car accident years ago permanently damaged Beatrice Subisi's legs, and the humid weather conditions in Taiwan only exacerbated the pain in her legs.
I was crying not because I was in pain, but because I was so moved that the other volunteers took such good care of me during the middle of the night.
Shouldering Tzu Chi's missions, these Zulu volunteers have devoted their entire lives to helping the sick and suffering in South Africa.
At the Tzu Chi Hualien Elementary School, 5th graders of Classroom 2 have been participating in a peer teaching project since October 2013 with a group of 3rd graders in Hualien's Fengtian village. As what started out as benefiting to the 3rd graders ended up being mutually beneficial for the 5th graders as well.
Today, the students of Grade 5, Class 2 of Tzu Chi Hualien Elementary School are putting on a children's play, and a group of kids from the 5-way house in Fengtian Village have come to enjoy the performance.
Currently, we have a group of 3rd graders volunteering at our charity shop, the 5-way house, and teacher Wenxing thought her 5th graders could be their peer teachers.
As first-time visitors to the Tzu Chi Hualien Elementary, the 5-way house children all hope to ring the gong of love. But first, they must sell enough items at the charity sale. Hence, the students from Grade 5, Class 2 pitched in to help meet their quota.
How many is Yongqing missing? 5, 6 items? That's okay. All right, Yongqing, come on. Let's go ring the gong of love.
Because our students are in 5th grade and our students are in the 3rd grade, we named this project 三五成群.
This project has been running since October of last year. Hoping to sustain the program further and also teach independence, students of the Grade 5 Class 2 pay a visit to the 5-way house.
Our students are urban kids and they are from the countryside, but we hope through their interactions they can become friends.
The 5th graders use their warmest and most gentle demeanor when working with the 3rd graders.
Originally, the 3rd graders at the 5-way house were like hedgehogs, spikes out ready to attack. Spending time with the 5th graders, however, it's obvious that the 3rd graders have let their guard down.
The 5-way house helps children from remote regions gain valuable life lessons. Through running the charity shop, the children learn about self-worth.
I've discovered the students are more confident after going there because there they can help with a variety of jobs, and the volunteers on site often praise them. The students shine and become better people.
Through their participation, the students of Grade 5 Class 2 have matured greatly. Here at the 5-way house, everyone reaps the benefits. 3rd graders have found a solid support system, while the 5th graders have found confidence and courage.
Moving to China, Xiamen and Kunshan's recycling volunteers visit their respective residential community to spread environmental ideals.
Here in Jiangsu Province's Kunsan, the lobby of a local residential building has been transformed into a temporary recycling station. Tzu Chi's Kunsan recycling volunteers are bringing environmental concepts into local communities, but it did not start off this well.
When we began spreading environmental ideals, it was difficult because residents didn't know how to differentiate the categories. Thankfully, there are many Taiwanese people in our community, so they were able to help by setting an example for the rest to follow.
With a little creativity, housewives can turn their kitchen refuse or fruit peels into an enzyme cleaner.
I would throw the plastic bottles away, but now it's all treasure to me.
Protecting the planet's resources is also part of treasuring the planet we live on. Helping to spread green ideals, a local Xiamen corporation invited DaAi Technology to hold a fashion show. Despite the rain, many local residents did not want to miss this exciting event.
Our TDK company in Xiamen alone has over 10,000 staff members. If this event attracted 1,000 people, then we have inspired 1,000 compassionate hearts.
Whether inspiring 1,000 or 10,000 people, everyone is needed to help protect our Mother Earth. Also in Xiamen, at an affluent residential complex, homeowners only cared about cleaning up their own homes and not the streets in and around their community. Thus, Tzu Chi volunteers were invited to motivate a community cleanup. Encouraged by the volunteers in blue and white, many local residents showed up to participate.
With so many Bodhisattvas helping to clean up the streets in and around this community, we will quickly finish the job, right?
Tzu Chi's song about recycling echoes throughout the courtyard as everyone warms up for the task ahead. After a short while of picking up litter, buckets are soon filled with trash. A clogged sewer drain breeds flying insects and floods easily when it rains.
Of course, it's dirty, but it will soon be clean and return to normal.
2 volunteers take it upon themselves to remove the residual tiny stickers left on the ground.
I feel a return to my pure nature after cleaning this up, as it is like removing our own bad habits.
Even a local resident who just had surgery on her leg joined the cleanup event.
I damaged a joint. I'm still recovering. So I'll just walk slowly. Every little bit helps, right?
After the cleanup event, the community is refreshed and the air is filled with a touch of the warmth of humanity.
In the Philippines, to show their support for Tzu Chi's relief missions, the superintendent of Armagh City's education department and various school teachers seized the opportunity to volunteer at Tzu Chi's rice distributions. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for watching DaAi Headlines. Goodbye.